What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Let Go, Let God podcast. I'm not your host, Erika Ray. I'm her husband, Kaden. And joining me today is the actual host of this podcast. You want to tell everyone your name?
Erika Ray.
Oh, well, they knew that.
What am I supposed to tell them?
I don't know. That's our intro.
Okay.
You can have it back. I had my time to shine.
That's okay. I wanted Kaden to do the intro, so here we are.
I did it.
Thanks for doing that.
Anytime. I'm here for it.
I'm excited you guys are back for part 2 of our faith questions that we have. We're going to do a quick little game that I made up 5 minutes before.
Yeah, she won't tell me what. She apparently wants to ask questions, and she's not telling me what they are. So,
Well, I told him I wanted to do
We'll
an
see.
icebreaker, and he was like, why do we need,
yeah, I mean, we're
why
married.
do we need to
What?
break the ice?
We don't need to break any ice. That's been shattered forever ago.
Yeah,
but that's okay. I like surprises in that regard, maybe.
So this is called
You chat GPT this 100%.
Don't out me.
Yeah, that laugh tells you everything. That's the most guilty laugh I've ever heard.
Okay, I got this on ChatGPT because I looked
Yeah.
it up 3 minutes before the pod. And it's a good idea. It's called This or That. Kind of like Would You Rather.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I'm aware. I got it.
okay, I'm going to give you some things and you have to choose this or that.
Okay.
I already know the answers to all these, but the viewers don't.
From what I would say,
Yeah.
we'll see. I'll be
Coffee,
unpredictable.
coffee or tea?
Depends on the time
No,
of day.
it doesn't.
Coffee.
Don't try to throw me off.
Coffee.
Mm-hmm. What's your go-to coffee order?
Is that a question on there?
No. It's a question that was in my brain.
I feel like it's been changing lately. I don't feel like I have a consistent one, but some shaken espresso. They're usually really good.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Okay, stay in or go out?
Usually stay in depending on what we're doing, but I like to go out too. Yeah. Stay in or go out? Yes. Is what I just told you, essentially.
I would say you like to stay in
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than going out.
I'm more down to have a game night and cook food and hang out and do fun things inside rather than go spend $100 on a restaurant or something
Yeah.
where we're also
I
yelling at each other to have a conversation
I
and
don't
parking and blah.
yeah, I don't
I
like
sound
going
so old.
where everybody else goes. But
Yeah.
I love having friends over. I would rather have friends over for dinner than go out to dinner.
That's what I want staying in to be. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not just like, I don't want to leave the house. I'm not that boring.
Staying in, being isolated.
Yeah, no, staying in means that game night with friends coming over, so I don't sound too old and boring.
Okay.
Just saving myself as we are.
Pray first or process first?
Oh, buddy, I wish I was praying first, but I'm a processor first. I'll sit there and talk about it to myself out loud when no one's around, or if you're around,
I was like,
and annoy you with that. Yeah, no, praying first would be better, but I process. I'm a human.
grace or truth? Would you rather have someone show you grace or truth?
Oh, receiving it, not being the kind of person to give it. Usually
Yeah.
you ask someone, are they more like a grace-giving person or a truth person? What would I rather receive? Normally I would think grace, but lately I like someone just smacking me with the truth.
Yeah.
But, delivery is going to be important there. If you just come in and just start hollering stuff at me, I'm not going to receive that well. No one would, but I like truth. Just get rid of the fluff. Just tell me what's up
Yeah.
nicely.
Would you give truth over grace too?
I feel like I lean on the grace side a lot more. I have to be closer with someone to give them the truth.
Yeah. That's a good point.
You have to balance those well.
I thought that I would pick truth for both, but I mean, I would always be truthful, but I guess from what you're saying, maybe not overly sharing the truth if you don't feel comfortable.
And it's not like truth in like being an honest kind of person. It's more like, are you gonna like get down to the nitty gritty things and like almost confront a person rather than, or just be like, oh no, it's okay, or are you gonna like, hey, what you're doing is bad. I don't know. I just clarifying.
Yeah.
For those listening, I guess.
Okay. That was the this or that game.
Wow, well, that was easy.
Were you nervous?
No, I just had no idea what you could possibly ask me. I thought that you would ask me what, like I said before we started, you probably asked me if you were a worm, how would I take care of you or something like of that nature.
How would you?
I'd buy you a dollhouse that would be life size for you as a worm, and I'd take care of you like that.
How would you?
Have you seen that Instagram video? You know, I've sent it to you. Those are, it's like a big, I don't know, like Barbie dollhouse where they all fit inside, but like for a little worm, you could have a full kitchen and 5-bedroom house.
I would have a mansion.
I could rake I would give you like a front yard and like water, like I'd give it grass and I'd rake it with a fork. Just to have like so you could have a nice lawn.
It sounds pretty luxurious.
I know. I would give you a luxurious little mansion if I could. If you're a little worm.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. Anyway.
Good thing I'm not a worm. But also I'm kind of like, well, maybe it sounds kind of
You're like, that kind of sounds like I'd get spoiled. Yeah. No, I'll take care of you as a little worm.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, I guess we can get on with this podcast, huh?
I feel like my brain is not working right now.
That's the middle of the day slump. It's okay.
And we just ate a bunch of chicken nuggets.
Yeah, we should have ate that on camera.
No, because then they would just hear us munching.
Oh, man, the microphones, that'd be gross. Just
it'd be like a mukbang.
Smacking. Ew, never mind.
Mukbang ASMR.
Ew, yeah. Podcast. ASMR chicken nuggets. Yeah, that'd be weird.
I couldn't do that. Okay. I need to snap out of it. I think I have, the
Come on, host your pod.
Huh?
Host the pod.
I'm like, here, you host.
I'll carry us through, don't worry.
Okay. We're going to jump into our next couple questions because last week we actually only answered 4 and the episode was almost an hour long, which is good because we got deep, we got into it. We really were able to share personal experiences, biblical things.
Yeah.
So with that, first question. The first couple ones are about prayer. How long should I pray?
Really depends on circumstances, but I'll answer first. I just took off with it anyway. Oh well. I mean, it's hard to say like there's a set time because sometimes you might have like a busier morning, and so it's gonna be kind of harder too. But especially if you're like, for me personally, I'm someone who wants to be like, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it well. And so that could be a trap when it comes to prayer because you're like, oh, I'm going to pray at least like, 15, 20 minutes a day. And then if I don't think I have that time and I have to leave the house early, then it's way easier for me to not pray. So I think that that was like a struggle for me. And so I think, even to know that you can maximize just 5 minutes too is really crucial. But so where I'm going with this is I think that an all or nothing mentality could be dangerous. I think I'm just kind of spitballing this as it's coming to me, but 5 minutes, if that's all you can do, that's better than nothing. But then also, if you're only ever getting 5 minutes a day, I would hope that you could find time to do more and be able to actually really try to dive in and sit there. Cause I feel like something that we've talked about a lot is it's like so easy to sit there and just dump a bunch of prayers and requests to God and help me do this, tell me this, blah, blah, blah. But you never really sit there and listen and try that. Cause I feel like that's the hardest part. And so to be able to, like, something I know, like you've told me that you like to do is put a timer for like 5 minutes to just be quiet and just try your best and listen and try to listen to hear what God could be telling you, and what you just to listen for him. And that's a practice in and of itself. So again, all that to say, it's good to be able to, no matter what, make the time, but then like you really do need to push to have longer times too. Cause if how good of a relationship is it going to be if you just donate 5 minutes a day, over time? Like if you're, starting down this road, or just being saved, you're a new Christian, like, I'd be really happy for you to, that's better than nothing. But it's ideal to, it's going to fluctuate overall. That number is going to fluctuate with how much time you should spend. And I don't know, there's not necessarily a set time frame, but at least a mindset around it is a relationship. And I feel like our church has made a lot of points to that, like how good of a relationship is going to be if you just give X amount of time to it. And it's when you frame it that way, you think, well, yeah, it wouldn't be that great of a relationship if I only do 5 minutes. So I think more so, I don't have the set time, but rather a mindset of think about you're pouring into a relationship and what the quality of that relationship is going to be based on how much time you're spending on it.
Yeah, I feel like the analogy is always used of, oh, would you talk to your spouse for 5 minutes a day?
Exactly. Yeah. Classic.
Definitely not. So
wouldn't work out well.
Yeah. The verse that I have written down is 1 Thessalonians 5:17. 3 words. Pray without ceasing.
Ooh.
So
yeah.
Pray all the time, pray constantly. I think a lot of the times when we think of prayer, we can get overwhelmed and just picture ourselves sitting down, kneeling at our beds, head bowed, hours and hours of us doing that. And then it can get overwhelming. So then we're like, I'm just not going to do it. I don't have time for that.
Right.
A lot of the times, have my prayer time on the way to work. I have a long commute. And now every time I get in the car in the morning, my brain's kind of triggered like, oh, time to pray.
Yeah.
And it's actually really nice. But I also love setting the timer to listen. And then I will even set the timer to pray, just because I have a hard time sitting and being still. And it's kind of a discipline. So it's like I'll start with 5 minutes. But then once I get comfortable with that, then I can move it up to 10 minutes and so on. And that really helps. Kind of like when you're having a hard time sitting still, doing your quiet time, it's like, okay, let me just sit here for 15 minutes.
Right.
Even though it seems forced, it might be what you need to do initially. So, yeah, I don't think that there's a specific answer, but just as the word says, pray without ceasing. So we should always be praying. I'm always praying throughout my day. Whenever something goes well, I'm in gratitude prayers. Whenever something isn't going well, I'm in asking for helpful prayers, I guess. And I think that prayer is actually a lot simpler than we think it may be. I mean, little children pray. We teach kids how to pray, and I think we should always remember, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. I can pray all day. It's so powerful. So
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, you really can't pray enough. Like there's no overdoing it.
Yeah.
That type of thing. Like you can never drink enough water. That's not true, but
Yeah, this girl drowned herself.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a thing. But that was a bad analogy. Let's just scrap that.
Yeah, Mr. Doctor.
That's not medical advice.
Know?
Yeah.
No,
What
kidding.
are you? It's supposed to be a doctor soon. Uh-oh. That ain't medical advice. Don't listen to that.
Okay.
Trainee still.
All right. Next question about prayer. Is it okay to pray the same thing repeatedly?
Why don't you take this one away first? We'll trade it off.
Okay. Definitely. It is okay to pray the same thing repeatedly. I prayed the same thing for years and years and years, and I've had those prayers get answered. And I also have had prayers that I've been praying for years and years that still have not gotten answered. And I wrote down the Lord's Prayer in Matthew 6:9-13. And it says, pray then like this. And then it goes into the Lord's Prayer, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that. It goes on for a couple more verses. But I think that's such a good example of how to pray. And sometimes if we don't know what to pray, then this can be like a good baseline verse, and we'll get into what do we do when we don't know what to pray next. But I feel like we should never stop praying. We should never, about the same thing, we should never think that something is impossible. Like if you have a long lost friend or family member that is dealing with addiction or depression or whatever it may be, I think we should constantly pray for them.
Then to put a twist on things, I feel like we might have talked about this last week, but I think we talked about like what to do, like when you feel like God isn't answering prayer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking in this question, like definitely, yeah, no, you don't like never stopping praying something. Like I don't think you can over pray for something and like,
Yeah.
you won't like overdo it necessarily, but, if it's, feels like it's something going unanswered, maybe like we talked about like like a course direction change, like a redirection change, like you could be not praying the wrong thing, but like maybe God has like a different plan for that thing you're praying for. So that's kind of the spin I was wondering of that thinking about for that question was, maybe it's also like you could be praying for the wrong thing if God has something different planned for you.
Yeah.
But that's also where, the trying to spend that time listening to is so important, because I know, I've had that experience myself too, and where, God will actually speak to you if you listen too. But it's so easy to just be like, God, I just pray for this and I pray for that, and give me clarity here, blah blah blah. And a lot of times I'm like, Caden, just shut up and listen. And it's so hard to do that. But that brings me also back to, I mentioned like the whole journaling thing. I like to write it down. So I've set timers too, to really just lock in for myself. Hey, 10, whatever. Usually it's like 5 to 10 minutes of, at least in this time duration, I am not going to ask. I'm going to sit here and focus on just being quiet and write in those quotations when I hear God talk to me. That's something I like to do. So.
Yeah. That's a good point that you brought up too, of maybe you're praying for a job or you're praying for something to go in a certain way and you're not getting those prayers answered.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe instead of asking for those things to be answered, like, oh Lord, I pray that I get the job, or oh, I pray that this situation pans out, maybe start praying for God to show you his will instead of praying for that one specific thing if you feel
Right.
like you're kind of reaching a dead end, because then it might gonna kind of open your eyes to something else that God may have for you instead of being stuck on this one thing that you're praying for.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're praying for healing or something very specific like that, I don't think you should ever stop praying for that.
Yeah.
Just because you don't think God's going to heal you. He has healed a lot of people in the Bible, and sometimes it's taken a long time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
that's good.
For sure. It's good.
Next.
Moving on through.
We're flying
We
through.
need to expand more, I guess.
I know. We'll share some personal stories here. I don't know what they're going to be, but
we'll see what happens, I guess.
what do I do when I don't know what to pray? So maybe speak to somebody who has never prayed before, or they've only heard pastors pray, or I don't know.
When you don't know what to pray.
Mm-hmm. Or what if they don't even know
How to
pray? Yeah.
Well, for one, just speaking on this, we're not like, I'm not an expert by literally any means. This is just like our hot takes, and not even hot takes, just our takes with our experience in this. I feel like I want to clarify that, but, I definitely feel like it's such an awkward and a weird concept to think, especially like as a new Christian. I mean, growing up in this, I grew up as a Christian, and so it was something very early on in my life that I would do. So I never really was, at that stage where it was a weird concept to me until much later in life, when I just would I guess when I got more mature and was able to think more about other people and their experience with it and how weird that's got to be. Like if you came to, you know, becoming like became a Christian and started following Jesus like way later in your life as an adult, you know, seeing the concept of praying to something has got to seem weird. But also this day and age, like how, you know, people speak affirmations and stuff like that out loud, I guess it doesn't seem as weird, you know. So anyway, to get on with it, I mean, you just think about it, it's like a relationship. You can talk to God, and it's, you know, it's not like you're gonna be. There isn't like a very specific written out way besides like the Lord's Prayer, which, you know, that is a great start. I feel like that's something you would probably say too. Like that's such a solid start for, you know, kind of just what is asked, and kind of like it's a good framework behind like a, you know, it's called the Lord's Prayer for a reason.
Yeah.
But you know, that's, I feel like if you really wanted to get applicable with it, that's a good place to start. But even just, you know, like coming in with, I feel like I found myself dividing it in sections sometimes. Like if I don't know what to pray, it goes into those like silent times of like, okay, God, like I don't even know what I need to pray. I don't know what I need right now. I have needs, but I don't know exactly what, like how to express them or anything. And so I surrender that, and I just ask for guidance, and I ask for clarity, and for you to just speak to me in some kind of way, and like give me the eyes to see, ears to hear, whatever, just to be able to sit in that and just go into a mode of receiving, especially when you don't know what to ask. You know, I feel like that's something, at least that's what my experience has been like with that. And it's just so situational a lot of the times too, with where you're at in your life, I guess. I know you kind of speak on that. What do you think?
Well, I think the Lord's Prayer is a great framework. It's Matthew 6:9-13. I kind of just want to read it just in case people haven't heard it before.
Yeah.
But it literally says, "Pray then like this: Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil." So it kind of covers all the bases, because you're first praising God, and then you're saying, okay, your kingdom come, your will be done, and then give us our daily bread, forgive our sins, and lead us not into temptation, which kind of sets us up for a good day. So I think that's a good way to pray. And then Romans 8:26 also says, "Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know what to pray for as we ought, but the Spirit himself intercedes for us with groaning too deep for words." So I think sometimes too, whenever we don't know what to pray, we can start praying, and then things just flow and flow and flow. Kind of like if you have to have a tough conversation with somebody, you're nervous about it because you're like, I don't know what to say. And you kind of prepare your bullet points or whatever. And then you just get into the conversation, and then typically it just kind of flows out because the other person responds. And then, you know, I feel like that's what happens with prayer. And you can literally pray for anything you want. Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of my prayers right now look like thanking God for what he's given me, praising him, asking for forgiveness of the little things that I've done throughout the day, asking for guidance and clarity with work, with podcasting, with friendships, with us. So I think it can be literally anything. And then anyone you know that's going through anything in your life, you know, you can pray for your family, friends. I remember one time I asked my old small group leader, I'm like, how do you narrow down what to pray? Because we could all sit for 24 hours and pray, and we still wouldn't have enough things to pray about.
Yeah.
Which seems like crazy, and it seems weird. Like, no, we couldn't do that, but we could pray for if you really break it down, we could pray for so many things.
Yeah.
And she told me, you know, we can't pray for everything, but we can we can pray for certain things. And a lot of times the Lord will bring things to your mind as well to pray for. And someone a long time ago showed me this, and I think I showed you or someone else showed you, but on the Bible app, you can write down your prayers. And then when you click pray, it'll filter prayers out for you to pray for that day. So if you don't even want to think about what you're going to pray for, you just click
Also
pray.
a good point, yeah.
And then it goes through. And then we talked about this last time, but writing down any prayers, marking when they're answered, or if God led you to a different route is another way of letting him speak to you.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and it truly is how much time you spend with God. Like, I guarantee you, the more you just pursue after him and you just have a curiosity to truly try to get to know him, and, reading scripture, even just starting in Genesis, like if you do a left to right, or beginning to end type of thing. And, if you just have a regular Bible, it's not exactly in chronological order, but at least the beginning books of the Bible are pretty good order. And so I just feel like if you have that real curiosity of pursuing him, and if you really are seeking him out, like, you're going to find something, and something's going to speak to you for sure. Now, and when I mean something, he is going to speak to you, in different ways. It's going to be different for each person. So many people experiencing him in different ways. And I truly believe that no matter if you are truly kind of in that pursuit, he'll know that, and something will happen for sure.
Yeah. And I remember another time I was at church and I saw this lady talking about how whenever you pray Bible verses, it's like dynamite because you're praying God's word over yourself. And so, for example, if you have the word, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, you can pray, Lord, help me to trust you with all my heart and keep me from leaning on my own understanding.
Yeah.
And like, you could just pray Bible verses if you're really stuck. Sometimes if I don't know what to pray, I'll just sit and be quiet and listen, or I'll just pick some verses of things that I know I'm struggling with, and then I'll pray those. And then it kind of gets me going. It gets me warmed up. It breaks the ice.
Yeah. Yeah. So especially the Psalms and Proverbs. Mm-hmm. Those are all very much so like a lot of prayers too from other characters in the Bible, and David and Solomon, and I feel like those, a lot of those very specific ones, that Proverbs 3:5, and those are, you have a lot of options, I guess, if you really need something.
Yeah, for sure. Also, if anybody ever asks if they can pray for you, always say yes, because why not?
Yeah.
Unless they're a different religion that is not our God, then you should probably say no.
Yeah, like, get behind thee, Satan.
Yeah.
Don't call someone Satan if you really don't know. That would be a bad idea.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes in our small group, I make people give prayer requests because I'm like, I know you have something.
You can always need prayer. You can always do that. Yeah.
Even if it's for a good week or a good sleep.
But hey, there's people out there that have a hard time receiving that stuff. Me being one of them, receiving and sharing stuff like that. Yeah. So, regardless, you can be stretched.
Yeah.
And in a good context too. I mean, it's, it's hard when you like someone that wants to pray for you, like in a weird place, or like you're in the absolute middle of something, and so like that could be kind of awkward sometimes. But it's so hard to deny that, though. You're like, I'm like right here, because it's not supposed to just be in the perfect environment to pray, but it is kind of stretching, especially if you're out in public. And sometimes I feel like I used to really just be self-conscious about, oh man, we probably look crazy or something, like praying in public or praying over our food and stuff. But I think I really have gotten over that. But I really used to struggle with that.
Yeah. That's true. I was just thinking about if Jesus was sitting at the table, I'd be like, we'd be the coolest table ever.
Yeah, you're going to tell me that you're not going to pray? Dad, homie is sitting with you at your table? No
You take
way.
your first bite of food and he just looks at you like, did you just eat without blessing the food?
I couldn't handle that.
No.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Sometimes I do that. When I take a bite without praying, I'm like,
oh, that's precious.
My dad used to tell us that our food was poisoned if we didn't pray before we ate.
That's grooming your children. Holy cow.
But
Some scare
we knew
tactics.
he was
Thanks, Dad.
joking. But it's still kind of stuck with me.
You're like, and to this day, that's why I never eat without praying, because I will die. Like, this girl actually believed that. Wow.
Okay, next question.
Nailed that.
We
Just kidding.
will shift gears from prayer to something else. How do I actually let go of things that are not serving me?
That's the hard one.
I feel like we need an example of something that may not be serving you.
The first one that comes to my mind, and this was also a lot of my, I guess, my own personal experience. Hey, we're bringing in personal experiences. Being newer into the faith as a Christian, and you are surrounded by people who are friends of yours that aren't, and they might like do things that are like, I don't know, that you might start feeling guilty about. For me and my buddies drank a lot, and I never really drank a whole lot, but I was always around that, and that was kind of just like an expected thing. And so I'd never, I feel like and this was like earlier in college, like some earlier college years too, I started to get a lot of conviction about doing that. And this might sound so crazy to someone who's like not, I don't know, some people might not ever feel guilty about that, but I mean, we're not like just casually, it was never casual drinking either, but we're just getting drunk constantly. And so that I started to feel very, very guilty about doing that. And so I feel like that was like the hard thing to let go though, because those are like a lot of them were like really close friends of mine. And I'm not saying that you need to abandon them, but it did kind of put me in a weird, I guess, for lack of a word, I guess like a weird dichotomy between like, well, I want to stay, these are my close friends, but also like, and then they're like making fun of me for being like a good old Christian boy now because I'm not wanting to get wasted like constantly. And so that was kind of a tough one. And I feel like that's definitely a very common one. I know many people that have kind of been in that situation too. But it's hard. You kind of have to decide like if we're talking about, Jesus, your relationship with God, we're talking scales of eternity and the goodness of your soul. Like this stuff does get deep, and that when you start putting it that way, it might kind of help the situation feel more serious for you to, kind of step out of that. And if they're truly really are your friends, they'll seek a level of understanding with you. And, I've gotten to points where like, I mean, and for one, I need to clarify, I'm not wanting to sound judgmental towards anyone that's drinking and stuff, but at least, if we're living up to a biblical standard, that's not something we should be doing. And so, you don't necessarily, you can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And so I think you just really do need to kind of stand your ground in that. But my friends, after a while, did start to come to respect that about me. And, I wasn't judging them for that. They weren't Christians. I'm not going to hold them to that same standard. So, I think that's the very classic example that I'm aware of, letting go of something that's not going to serve you. But it's hard because it wasn't necessarily me letting go of those friends and just being judgmental and bouncing out. It wasn't that, but there was awkward and more serious conversations with them about, this is what I truly believe and this is how I feel about it. And if some of them weren't, only like 1 or 2 of them, I don't really speak with them much anymore, but they just weren't about it. And they were the ones that kind of judged me, if anything. And so, yeah, it just depends, but it's a serious thing. You got to kind of, I don't want to say you have to pick, but if it's not serving you, why stay and kind of let something tear you down if that's what's happening.
How did you feel after you removed yourself?
Well,
you're like, I didn't know.
Yeah, I was like, well, you see, I was lying. No, I think, I mean, it was just hard because it's, I think I initially, I didn't have any of the conversations with them. initially I just kind of started casually stepping away.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I'm met with conversations like, where you at, bro? What are you doing? Why are you like, like too cool for us now? So I didn't handle it in the best way initially because I just didn't really want to confront it. And I just kind of thought I could slip between the cracks, I guess. But, we were all pretty close. So that didn't work out for me well. But I then did kind of have conversations with them. It's like, dude, I just can't really do this anymore. Like I genuinely like don't I feel so much guilt. And for someone that's never experienced that, like for them, they never experienced that kind of guilt. And so it's kind of like, oh, well, you're all like high and mighty now. And so it's just so hard because some of them are just so not understanding of it. And I had other friends. Luckily, this is how, they kind of found they tried and they understood. And I more so just respected, like, that's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't try to like turn it into like, oh, you're just holier than thou now and better than us. That's them putting words in my mouth. I don't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was kind of a 50-50 split there. I got to
Yeah.
luckily have friends that understood that, and I can hang out, and I don't have to get wasted with you to have a good time. And
Yeah.
um yeah.
And I think sometimes just saying that will open the door for some people to be like, hey, bro, that's totally fine. We still want you to hang out with us. Or for them to be like, why are you being like that? And then at that point, it's your decision because they're still your friends. And even if they're not fully aligning with what you do, yeah, you're not going to hang out with them every night, but I don't think it means you should never hang out with them.
Right.
I thought of something else too as you were talking. I think what makes letting go of things a lot easier is when you figure out what your values are. For
That's good, yeah.
example, I remember I used to drink alcohol, and it got to a point where I would drink alcohol and then not make the best decisions. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm going to just have one drink. And then I was like, okay, actually, I'm just going to stick to beer and wine. And then I was always negotiating with myself. And then the moment I was like, okay, I'm not going to drink at all, it was actually so much easier for me to go out, because if I went out with friends, which I'm not even in these situations a lot anymore, but if I go out and then there's alcohol, it's just like, oh, it's not even a thought. Kind of like I don't eat gluten, so I haven't been doing that for a while. And when I go out, I'm not really tempted by the gluten-filled foods because I already know it's not going to make me feel good.
Yeah.
And so it's so much easier for me to be like, no, versus, oh, well, maybe I'll just have a little bit. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have self-control like that. So,
Not the gluten.
yeah. But I think when you know what you're about, what your values are, and you go out and something's not aligning with your values, you kind of realize, oh, I feel weird about this. And then it's way easier for you to pick out, oh, yeah, I shouldn't be in this situation. Like, there's been situations where I've immediately gone and then I'm like, that did not feel good. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. I think it gets easier as you get older too. When you're younger, and a lot of these stories I'm talking about when I was I'm literally like 21 or 22
Yeah.
and in college. And I mean, I'm glad that I went through that when I was younger. And then, as you get older and you just experience it, I'm like, how many times am I going to keep just lying, playing these games with myself? Like, I'm sick of myself. I'm
Yeah.
getting annoyed that I can't like I can't be true to my word. That was what my experience was. And, yeah, it's like, oh, I'm not going to do it this time. And the next thing you know, like, okay, just one, okay, just two. And
Yeah.
like, I feel like an idiot. I can't even, my word doesn't mean anything. And
Yeah.
as a guy, like my word, and maybe I'm just an old soul still, but like my word matters to me, and I want that to matter to other people. And, when Caden says something, it's not to be taken crazy lightly, I guess. I don't know. I'm just rambling there, but,
Yeah.
I think it does get easier as you get older, because you're like, I know better. I'm
Yeah.
learning, and it's a bummer if you're not learning, because if you're still doing it, you're not learning. But yeah, you get older, you kind of make your own decisions. You're like, yeah, dude, I'm not about that. But I just
Mm-hmm.
feel like that all this can get so misconstrued, especially as Christians, coming off as being judgmental people. And that's what really sucks. And I've fought that a lot. And it's, it's not that, but I think so many Christians have done that so wrong, and they do come off as, oh, I'm, holier than thou. I'm better than everyone because I don't drink. And, that's not the intention. That's not my heart. That's not the hearts of Christians. That's not the heart of God. That's not
Yeah.
how it's supposed to be. It's not being judgmental. It's just, literally choosing what's best for you. And if you are holding yourself to a biblical standard,
Yeah.
and that is a very different unpopular opinion type of standard
Mm-hmm.
of living compared to today's culture. And so someone, for whatever reason, someone decides to do that, it's taken by the world as, oh, you're just a goody two shoes Christian, you're just a good boy. I've been told that a ton and throughout my life, and I almost just have stopped engaging with that because, a lot of at least the people that have told me that are not someone who's going to sit down and actually have a conversation with me.
Yeah.
And so,
That's true. I think too, it does come with age. As you get older, you figure out what you're about. It just gets so much easier to be like, yeah, that's not serving me. Yeah, that's not serving me. And I think when you're younger, and even now, there's still those gray areas where you are unsure. And I think in those moments, that is when you have to pray for discernment.
of
And
course.
if you're still feeling weird about it, maybe just remove it for a little bit and see how you feel.
Yeah.
And the verse I wanted to share was 1 Peter 5:7. It says, casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. So if you're getting anxious because something's happening, but you don't know, oh, is this just me or is this the situation? It's like, just pray about
Mm-hmm.
it, because then you're going
Yeah.
to most likely get your answer. And if that anxiety keeps coming around, then honestly, it's probably best you just remove yourself from the situation,
Yeah.
because if it's continuously making you anxious. But sometimes God will put you in situations that make you anxious, but he puts you there for a reason,
Oh yeah. Got
because
to challenge you.
he wants you to be uncomfortable in that.
Yeah.
And what I've also realized is this doesn't just apply with drinking or drugs or
Right. Right.
anything like that, but dang it, I forgot my thought again.
Oh, you just lost the train of thought. Man, I hate that. What I do appreciate is
Every
you just
time.
upfront being honest, just saying, "Oh, it just left me," because I'll do the thing where I'll just literally circle and be like, and then I'll try to just say something that's like adjacent to the train of thought that I lost to try to just hope it resparks it. But you just straight up
Sometimes
were
I
like, "It's
do that,
gone."
but then I get mad and I almost feel like if I can talk about it, then it'll come back.
Well, you were saying that this isn't just up to the exam. This isn't just, we're giving examples of alcohol and drugs. It doesn't just go
Yeah.
just to that. It's,
Yeah.
it spans many categories.
Yeah. A lot of different categories. I don't know what I was going to say. I don't
I
think
was
that was
hoping that
it,
would jog
but
your memory.
it's okay. But because then when you started talking, I started thinking about the time whenever me and Kaden first met. It was like one of the first few times, and he was talking to me, and I completely zoned out. And then I don't know if you asked me a question or whatever, but then I was like, I'm sorry. I totally zoned out. I have no idea what you just said. And then you were telling me how you're like, I really liked that about you. You
No,
just
I
straight
love
up told
that.
me.
I mean, yeah, no, I feel like it's easy and to just everyone, I don't know, just, I feel like you just were, that was like a very genuine, honest thing. And it was also hilarious because you're like, hey, I just like blue screened and like went full on dial up tone nothingness for like 5 seconds and I didn't hear a word you just said. I was like, oh, no one's been that's a brutal honesty. I like that. I'm drawn to
Well, I
that.
was like, I am not going to be able to lie and
Well, I
try
appreciate you
to
not just being like,
figure.
yeah, totally, because I'm the person that would be like, you didn't hear a freaking thing I just said, did you?
It's
So
almost
you saved
worse.
yourself in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
worst. I always just admit it. Unless I have something that I can kind of spin off. Or sometimes if I'm podcasting and I lose my train of thought, but then something else comes, I'm like, whatever, it's gone. I'll
Yeah.
just shift gears.
Yeah.
So overall, oh, I know what I was going to
There,
say.
we're back.
Yeah.
Go. Just say it now. Hurry.
Okay, I've been in situations where I have boundaries and things that I'm not doing because of my values, and people do ask me, hey, why aren't you doing that? Not in a judgmental way, they just ask me, and then I kind of share my reason, and it brings curiosity in people. And I've had actually very positive interactions of me maybe just not doing something that everybody else is doing, but I still care for and love the person that's there. So like I'm there supporting them with, not with the bad thing that may be going on, but
Yeah.
just them and themselves.
Right.
And the other people get curious, and then they kind of think, and I've even had people be like, oh yeah, I've actually wanted to stop doing this or whatever. And
Right.
then I'm like, you can.
Yeah. It could open doors, yeah, but it is a bummer because I feel like there's a lot of people in my life that are just they just take it at face value, like, oh no, he's just this, and like there's nothing beyond that. There's no trying, because if there was a conversation to come from it, like, oh, why don't you do this? Like I would, bro, we could bro out for like 4 hours talking about that, but instead it's like, oh no, that's Caden just doesn't go out, or Caden just doesn't do this, and it's just kind of like I'm just written off. And yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we kind of started this whole thing off like we need examples, and here we are. Like, what are we,
I knew it would
47 minutes into
happen.
this thing now?
Yeah.
That's
It's
Here
perfect
we
timing
go.
because we have one more question left.
Let's go.
So, last question. How do I surrender without being passive? And this question can be kind of broad. So,
Yeah.
the way I think of it is, if God is asking you to do something, but maybe He is having you be patient and be prayerful, I think, how do we just go about our lives being like, oh, it's not our time, I'll worry about it later? Like, how do we be active in those times where God is just trying to work on us without giving us maybe the thing that we want? Does that make sense?
I will say that actually kind of complicated a bit more in my head, but I'll rephrase it again.
think?
Well, no, I was just thinking, okay, like, is it a scenario? Not a scenario. How do we surrender without being passive? This is what the question was kind of saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we surrender something in a manner that is not passive?
Yeah, so you know how
I
some people
guess.
are like,
How can you be more proactive in surrendering?
yeah,
I'm just rephrasing it multiple times for it to
yeah,
land.
because, if you feel like, oh, I know that when I'm 30 years old, I'm going to do this. And I don't know, I'm confusing myself.
No,
It
I know.
makes
I
sense in
think I
my
know where you're
head.
going with that. Yeah, like it sounds like where you're going with that is you're putting something off. Like, oh, when I'm 30, I'll stop doing that.
Yeah, or,
But I think just
yeah.
the overall, like, I mean, just if we're gonna just say passivity, and when it comes to surrender, you can't really surrender and be passive. Essentially, I'm just gonna take this thought and run with it and see where this goes.
Okay, go for it.
Um, Surrendering something in the context of, surrendering it to God, it's like, in ways that we've seen many characters in the Bible, David, Moses, Abraham. I'm like I feel like everyone, Paul, is like on your knee, face down, on your knees, like lifting your hands up to the Lord and just giving it to Him. That is like a truly like surrender. I give this to you. You're not just like, it's almost like I almost want to say those two things don't exist in the same sentence, being passive and then surrendering. Surrendering is like at the end of the barrel, like, I give this to you, God. I no gas left in the tank. This is out of my control. I give this to you. That is like a full surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to happen in any way if you're being passive. It's just like they're not opposites. The words can be taken differently, but I don't see those really fully being,
I see.
you know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get what you're saying. They're two completely different things. I think a better way, when I was thinking of this question, it made so much sense in my head, but I'm having a hard time articulating it. So I
it's all right.
think, yeah, I just think that there's times in our lives, like, when we want to do something, but we think, oh, it's not the right time, I'll do it later. But then you don't do anything about it, even if maybe God has asked you to do something about it.
Hmm.
And so I think
That makes sense.
a lot of times, let's just say God's given you a passion or a dream, and you're like, oh, well, I can't do that right now because I have to make money, because I have to live. Yeah, that's true. But how can you also work on what God has called you to do and not just be passive and be like, okay, I'll worry about that in 5 years kind of a thing.
Right.
So I think that in that you can surrender everything, give everything to God, but be very active in the waiting season. And that looks like praying and asking what else you can do, what little steps you can do to kind of get there.
Yeah, that makes sense. We got there.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good.
Yeah. I'm looking at the verse that I put down for this one, and I don't really know if it goes with the question.
You really poured into the first few, and you're like,
I
I'll do
know.
one more. And then you're like, what was that?
It's so weird because when I prepare for these, I'm like, okay, I'm really going to deep dive, look into these, and they make sense. And
I mean, I do that all the time, especially for like prepping for small group or just shoot anything. Like if I'm by myself thinking about it in my head, it's making sense. And then we go to talk about it, and I'm like, actually, I don't know where my mind was at that point in time.
It's so weird. I think it's still a good verse, so I'm going to read it. I mean, all the verses are good.
Yeah.
It's Hebrews 12:1. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. So, laying all of our burdens aside and surrendering,
Yeah.
and then run with endurance the race that is set before us. So, no matter what we're doing, if we're in a job we don't like, or if we are in a season that's hard, we shouldn't just give up and be like, okay, well, I'll just do this later. Like, for example, this is something I've said so many times before in my past where I didn't have a lot of money. Still don't, but I really didn't back in the day. And I was like, okay, I'll get better at my giving to the Lord or to other people whenever I actually have money. Like some people say, oh yeah, if I was a millionaire, I would be helping out all these charities and doing all these things. But that is passive behavior, because just because you can't give $1,000 a month to this charity does not mean that you shouldn't
give 5 a month. You could give 10 a month, maybe.
Yeah. Just like that lady in the Bible who gave like her only coins that she had to the Lord.
Yeah.
So I actually think with just the whole giving thing, something that I have found that has been so cool is I had a really hard time giving. I love to give, but it was really hard for me to give financially when I was in a really tough spot. And then I felt like the Lord was telling me, you just need to start somewhere, and I'm going to grow this in you. And so then I started giving regularly, and then anytime somebody would need something or there was a party or something like that, I would start to give gifts, and I would start to just give little small gifts and write cards, like things that I could do. And I feel like, years have gone by and we're in a situation, but like I'm working and you're not working, so we're not making tons and tons of money, but it's really cool to see how
they didn't need to know that.
I'm just kidding. They probably know you're not working. Well, you are working in school, but
I'm working hard. And
I'm the breadwinner of this household.
Yeah, she's sugar mama.
I'm using this. Don't call me that.
I know. I was like, are you gonna move past that? You let me say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't like that.
But I just use this as an example because I feel like I have truly grown in this area of, yes, I am now in a better financial spot, but I didn't start giving more when I was in a better spot. I started giving more when I was actually in a worse spot, and the Lord just somehow would always provide.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. So.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's something we kind of talk about a lot is, if I can't give even just a little now, you're never going to give when you quote unquote have more money.
Yeah, because why would you start? No, you probably.
Yeah, why all of a sudden would you? There, like it goes beyond that, but I think it's easy to think that you would, but there's a reality there that it isn't as simple as I have this number, I can give this number, and it's just money. Like it does. I think it's more like a posture of your heart thing. It definitely goes deeper than that, and that's a better way to go about it, I think.
And also, money aside, if we think about David, if David knew, because I don't think David knew he was going to be a king, right?
I mean, not initially.
Yeah, when he was working in the fields as a shepherd, he didn't
He's
really
just a
know.
brave little boy.
Yeah, so he didn't know he was going to be king, but every single day he worked so hard to tend to the sheep and fight off bears with his hands, like all these crazy things. And I'm pretty sure he fought off a bear with his bare hands, didn't he? Or maybe his staff that
Or
he had.
lion.
There was a guy in the Bible that wrestled a bear with his bare hands, right?
I think. I can't remember the story, but I know.
Benaiah.
No, Benaiah killed
Oh,
a
a
lion
lion.
with a spear.
Kind of the same thing.
I mean, they're both valiant acts. Very manly.
Okay, I don't know if David actually fought off a bear
I don't recall hearing that
with
off the top
his
of my
hands,
head.
but he did scare off the animals. I don't know what that looked
Well, I
like.
mean, yeah, he had to protect.
Okay, anyways.
Anyway, you're kind of on with what you're saying.
Well, I kind of thought about it and was like, wait, I shouldn't give false information.
Yeah, I was like, I don't got the source for that right now
Okay.
on my head. So
So
whatever you're saying.
what I was saying is David didn't know he was going to be king, but he still worked really hard to tend for his sheep.
He eventually knew he was going to. It was going to, but
Yeah,
it
but
wasn't
not
like
initially.
initially like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a king.
But then even when he found out, he didn't just throw everything out the window and be like, okay, great, I'm not going to care for my sheep. I know I'm going to be king.
Yeah,
You
never
wait.
arrive.
Yeah. And he didn't just, when he did find out, he didn't just say, oh, I'm going to wait until I'm king and then I'll go use all my skills and talents. Like,
Right.
he worked so hard and he used all those skills and talents.
Until he did go soft and start chilling on the roof and looking at
Yeah.
Bathsheba and dadgummit David. But before that, no, he didn't go. He was good. You're like, you just kind of ruined my analogy. Thanks.
The episode's over now. No, just kidding.
When this stops recording, we're gonna fight. No, that's good though. Yeah, you don't like ever necessarily like arrive, and you know, with when it comes to like God, you don't just get to a certain point and then kind of call it good. Like, okay, I'm good now.
Yeah.
There's always like there's a change in you, and that change in you causes you to continue just to pursue Him and pursue this, you know, a different standard of living that the Bible calls you to. It does call you to a higher standard, but not to be taken as like, oh, Christians are better than others, blah blah blah. It's not that.
Yeah.
But it's like a holy standard of living
Mm-hmm.
for what it can be as living as humans in an imperfect world.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Good questions.
Mm-hmm.
I almost said good questions that you guys sent in.
Yeah, you're
but
like, good questions that I came up with.
maybe I'll do a pool.
I'd like to do a
poll?
poll if we get we're going to get 4 questions, but hey, that's about all time we need to. We can only answer 4. So if 4 of our close friends that are feeling bad and want to support us.
I'll make everybody in the
send
small
you-
group write down a question.
Yeah. Then we can just start talking about having this massive audience and say, oh yeah, you guys keep asking me.
I always get the same question.
Yeah, I always get this question
my
all the time. I'm like,
DMs.
yo, her best friend asked her yesterday, so she just likes to say that. I feel like a lot of people probably do that just to
yeah.
sound like there's a lot more going on than reality.
Yeah.
You know, 2 people say something to you, or no, say one person says something, and then when you go on talking to your friends, you're like, oh my gosh, everyone, one person is not the same as saying everyone. That's so
That's
high
true.
school, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think I'll still do a poll. See what
Yeah,
questions
do it.
we can come up with. More faith-based questions or hot takes or maybe something else. I don't know what the next pod will bring.
I think
It's
you've
always
ended
a
the last
surprise.
2 with saying that same thing. I don't know what's next.
No, I said last time we were going to have a part 2.
Oh yeah, we've had part 2s every time we've ended this thing, so
Yeah, because we talk a lot.
it's all right. It's not like we're married or anything.
Yeah. We do talk a lot.
It's what podcasts are for, I guess, right?
No, I'm just
listen
talking
to us
about
talk.
in general.
We're communicators.
Yeah.
Well,
When we want to be. Well, Never mind. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Give that outro.
Okay, that's it for today. Don't forget to let go and let God. Till next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.